In this video, we're going to be testing a wide variety of inverters with the 100 to 230 volt Worker Bee Power Pack.
Hi, I'm Matt Grant.
I'm Matt Borden.
And what we're going to do today is we're going to investigate and test numerous inverters and power systems off of the 100 to 230 volt full voltage power system, the Worker Bee power system from Sailrite. What we're going to find here, so that you're not surprised, is that this technology does work on a few inverters, but not on a lot of inverters, and we just want to explain to you what you can expect it to work on and what you should not expect it to work on and what it looks like when it doesn't work. This is a 500 watt modified sine wave inverter, so a fairly small inverter. We typically recommend no less than 500 watts for an inverter. However, what we seem to be finding with the full voltage unit is the 100 to 230 volt unit is that the more wattage, better your chances of getting it to operate. So at 500 watts, I'm not expecting this to function with this. Actually, this old inverter, let's see what it does. So actually, on this old modified sine wave inverter, which this is one from several years ago, it works just fine. So, nice operation, still has the giddy up when you apply resistance to the flywheel. Yeah, so good. Okay, this is an EcoFlow, so it's a, and there are several types like this, but it's a self-contained battery power system for 110 volt. So we're on. Okay, clearly there's a power issue. It's working, but you can hear real hesitation in the way the power is delivered to the machine and the motor. You could probably sew with that, but don't recommend it. Okay, this is AutoZone 400 watt unit Duralast. Just picked this up a couple of weeks ago, and a little low on the wattage. I'm not expecting it to work very well, but you can hear the cycling in it. And you're going to get some hesitation. So not ideal for this system. 600 watt Energizer, very easy to find unit online. And let's go ahead and run it. Oh, this is a modified sine wave as well. Everything we've been doing so far has been modified sine wave. That is not working at all for some reason. So I don't know if it's a frequency issue with this particular inverter. My understanding with inverters is we're dealing with phase-fired technology in our Worker Bee boxes, and if the frequency of the inverter interferes with the frequency of the Worker Bee, you will have that issue. There is no way to know what frequency you're getting out of an inverter. That's why we're doing this test. Some of them work, some of them don't work. This is a 500 watt modified sine wave, and we're going to do our test. All plugged in. Same results. I don't know if you can see the flywheel just move and then kick off. What's happening is it's not even reflecting as an issue in the control panel. It's just the frequency is just not allowing it to function, period. Okay, this is our first sine wave inverter. Sine wave is supposed to be like as close to true the true wave that you can get out of your outlets in your home, but sometimes that causes even more problems. So sine wave inverter, not expecting this to work. That even tripped the inverter. So definitely not functioning on that one. This is a modified sine wave inverter, 2000 watt with a peak of 4000 watts. This is a good example of, doesn't seem to matter how big the inverter is. If the frequency isn't right, it isn't right. Clearly not right. Okay, it is not powering that appropriately. Okay, this system seems to have a check itself. This is a very nice 2,000 watt inverter, and it shows a hazard until it's confirmed that it's set up properly according to battery. This is yet another modified sine wave inverter, just like the last one that didn't function. No reason to expect that this one would work and the other one wouldn't work, which sort of shows that the inverters are part of the issue here, and what we believe is a frequency issue, because you will see here, this one runs. Little bit of a grovelly noise at low speed, but high speed, we're not having those issues. You could sew on this without a problem. This is Matt Borden's own inverter. It's a good Duracell 3000 watt with a higher peak. Again, this is a high quality modified sine wave inverter. I think that one's on. Yep, okay. And this one probably works the best of any of them that we've tested. So very good quality, modified sine wave inverter. That's running it very smoothly, very nicely. This is probably one of the more expensive inverters that we're testing. It's a true sine or a pure sine wave inverter, 4,000 watts, capable of a peak up to 8,000 watts. Good heavy inverter, and nice display on it. Sine wave again. For some reason, it's not going to work. That's full speed. And you can hear it surging. Okay, not a good solution for our full voltage worker bee system. All right, we do not recommend this at all. This is your Schuko or your German plug set up on our 100 to 230 volt worker bee system. So you could plug this into the wall, it worked just great. Plug it into a modified sine wave inverter of 12 volt to 220 volt, and it will not work. See them off.
That is the correct.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we get our display showing us that we're at 220 volt, and we're on. We're getting that little, I don't know if you can hear it, but a little tick out of it. That's it. No function whatsoever. We're very specific about you cannot run from a battery to 220 volt and expect it to work with the full voltage worker bee. The only chance you have is running this at 110 volt off of an inverter. This has been an interesting test for the full voltage system, 100 to 230 volt. This system is more complicated than our dedicated 110 volt system, and as a result we're finding that it is more finicky by a long shot with inverters. We found only a few inverters that it runs on even reasonably well, and I certainly don't recommend running it on one of the inverters that hiccups a lot. Just not going to be good for your motor. In investigating all of this, we've been trying to figure out if we can give you sort of an exact equation for what you need to have in order to run your full voltage system off of a battery and an inverter, and we can't determine that. Whether it's frequency, electronic components, interference, electrical interference, we have no idea. Our manufacturer doesn't have any idea. It works out of the wall, no problem. Sometimes we're hearing from customers that it works fine on their inverter system. You're just going to have to try it. And in our research of this, one of the things that we looked at is what about, essentially what we were trying to do here when we developed this system was we were trying to create a servo motor system for a portable sewing machine. So we went down the road of also investigating, well, do servo motors work on inverters? And probably not too many people try that because a servo motor is on an industrial table and you wouldn't typically put it on a boat and try and run it off of an inverter. But the answer is no, they don't really work either. So if you want this kind of slow speed control and power that you get out of our worker bee system, and you have to have full voltage, your options for inverters may be slim. If you don't care about full voltage, then stick with the 110 volt worker bee system, because it seems to be almost foolproof when it comes to inverter usage, whereas the full voltage is not. It is what it is. We hope that this video has been helpful. We have looked into this in every way possible to see if there's a solution to inverter usage on the full voltage unit. And at this point, we have not come up with anything other than it works on some. Hope this has been helpful.